Let's start by mentioning that Africa is composed of more than 50 countries, and each country is composed of so many ethnic groups. So, cultural diplomacy is very crucial in Africa to maintain peace. As we know, cultural diplomacy is soft diplomacy. Our borders sometimes cut across ethnic groups. So, two countries uh, who share people of an ethnic group may use cultural diplomacy to soften their stance and to negotiate peace. And that's what's happening now in the Sudan. It happened in the 1960s between Somalia and Kenya, where on both sides of the border, Somalis were the major ethnic community. So to use cultural diplomacy, uh, Africa can be able to promote peace as well as development. Relations between Tanzania and China historically goes back to the days of merchants and traders from the east who used to travel to the East African coast. But it was after independence when China and Tanzania got very close. It all began by the first visit of the father of the nation of Tanzania and the first president, Julius Nyerere, who visited Beijing in 1964. And at first, he didn't ask economic aid. It was cultural relations between China and Tanzania in the area of Chinese training Tanzanian acrobats, inviting Chinese cultural troops to Tanzania, and then that was followed by scholarships offered by China for Tanzanian students to go to China to study mainly medicine and specialization of Chinese traditional medicine. And that's when we began to establish a joint traditional medicine center in Dar es Salaam, which is doing a very good job in the area of, of making sure that we use traditional medicine in China and in Tanzania and to mix that to find out experimental basis to manufacture our own drugs, particularly to cure diseases such as AIDS and Ebola as well. Tanzanian cultural music has been very vibrant because Tanzania is composed of so many, about 130 ethnic groups, and each cultural group had its own music. So this was a healthy place to host Chinese cultural experimentation. And that's why Chinese, from the beginning, brought to Tanzania students in the area of culture and the language. And that has been happening. It's been happening even since then, even now. And we have gone very far ahead by China establishing Confucius centers, Chinese cultural centers in several universities, which include Dodoma University, Dar es Salaam University, Zanzibar University, and Tanzania establishing a center to teach Kiswahili and Tanzanian culture to Chinese in Beijing. As I mentioned earlier, cultural diplomacy is a soft diplomacy. So It really helps nations and governments to pursue their national interests in a better way than confrontational diplomacy. So cultural diplomacy, at the end of the day, will be the base of our diplomacy uh, within Africa and between Africa and the wider world as well.